Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Johnson. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I provide the clinical oversight through Auxilium Responder for Fort Morgan's peer support team. I just wanted to take a few minutes to not only introduce myself, but to give you a little bit of information about what to expect for your wellness visit coming up on the week of June 10th. So, a little bit of background about me. So, my husband is a first responder. He has been a first responder for the last 14 years. We have been married for 11 years, so this is just really the life that I have known as the spouse of a responder. So he's been in fire and EMS, and my brother-in-law is a law enforcement officer out in Southern California, and he's been doing that for like 20 years at least now as well. So I'm married into a family of first responders, and I have been working with the emergency responder population for the last 6 years. I started off working with Building Warriors, and I worked with them for nearly 6 years until they closed doors at the end of last year. But through that, I have spent time counseling responders and their families. I have done additional wellness visits with other agencies. I have taught and provided clinical oversight with peer support and taught peer support teams. I have done many things, done a lot of critical incident debriefs as well. So working with the responder population is my jam. And so I want to just give you a little bit of perspective as to what to expect in regards to your wellness visit. So I want to share just a few things, just so to try to like ease your mind. I know that many of you might be really uncomfortable with the idea because I know that your agency is making this a mandatory visit, and so you might be a little bit skeptical. You don't know us, this is new to the agency, and so you might have some concerns around what this really ultimately means. So first of all, I want to stress the fact that this is confidential. Yes, this is happening within your department. However, there is nothing that needs to be shared with command staff outside of these visits. The only thing that could potentially be something that would need to be brought up is if you are a threat to harm yourself. Outside of that, what happens in these visits is between you and the clinician that you meet with. That is so important to us as an agency in providing this service because we want you to feel like your business is yours. This hour is really for you. It's about to talk about anything that you might need to talk about, but each of our counselors will come in with some specific questions as well, just to kind of get the conversation flowing. But at the end of the day, the only thing that gets back to command staff is literally that you attended your appointment. You're just going to have to sign a document that states that you attended your appointment, and that's it. Uh, I know that historically speaking, psychological visits within emergency services has kind of a feel as it being a fit for duty. This is not a fit for duty. I know that many of you don't know me, but if you did, you would have heard me say over the last number of years that I never want to be associated with fit for duties. And so, because I really don't, I don't want you guys to feel like getting a check-in for your mental health is also tied to potential consequences for your job. That's not what this is about. This is really just to check in to see how you're doing as a person and to see if there's any tools that you might need or support that you might need beyond this session. Maybe you have something going on at home. Maybe that's what you spend your time talking about. That's okay too. It might not have anything to do with work. This is purely just an opportunity for you to sit with a professional and have a conversation about your overall well-being and maybe how that affects your job for you personally. But by no means is this going to be associated with whether or not you keep your job. That is not our job to do. So it really is just a check-in. You can talk or not. You will have, all of you will have up to an hour with a clinician, but at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want or not. So, like I said, they'll likely come prepared with some questions to ask, but if you have nothing to say, that's your prerogative. But I seriously, I know that you don't know me, so I'm aware of that. But I hope that you hear my heartfelt like sincerity that this is not punitive in any way, and there's no need for anything to get back to command staff unless you are an immediate threat to hurt yourself or another person. So when you start tagging into like those things, like that's a different area. But we are legally obligated to ensure your safety. But beyond that, really, it's an hour for you to take advantage of talking to a professional who also understands, your line of work without doing it themselves. So I want to share with you about who is available to you for your sessions. So Monday, anybody who's visiting has their visit scheduled for Monday. You'll be meeting with Susie Melly. Susie is the spouse of a firefighter. Her husband, Leo, has worked with Boulder Fire for a number of years. She is a gem of a human. She and I have actually been friends longer than we've been colleagues. And so she has that experience on the fire side, but I've worked with her professionally for the last 2 years of working with first responders. And whoever is in her presence will just feel so comforted and cared for. And then we don't have anybody on Tuesday, but then Wednesday and Thursday, I believe those are the dates. Yeah, whoever schedules their visits then will be scheduled with Lucy Decker. Lucy is also married to a firefighter paramedic, and I've known Lucy, I think now for like probably 5 years. She's incredible. She works a lot around substance use as well. I believe she has a license in addictions counseling, or she's a certified addictions counselor, as well as a licensed professional counselor. So she's got an expertise in that realm, but also with working with emergency responders. And she's been doing that for a number of years now too. And then whoever has an appointment scheduled for Friday on the 14th, you will be meeting with Laura Leathers. Laura is also married to a first responder. So her husband was a volunteer firefighter as well as a Commerce City police officer. So some of you might even know him. But all to say that every person that will be there to support y'all in this week of wellness visits has connections to emergency services in some way or another. And that is hugely important to us as an organization, that we work with counselors that understand your jobs as much as they can without doing it themselves. So know that you're not walking into a meeting with somebody who has absolutely no clue what you do. All of us have connections to this population somehow, and that is truly important to us. So yes, once again, I just want to stress that these visits are confidential. They are not punitive. There's nothing being reported to command staff unless it has to do with a safety issue. And the only thing that you will be signing is a disclosure form from your therapist and a sign-in sheet. And you have up to an hour of time. The therapist will ask you questions that they're bringing into these meetings, or you can talk about whatever you need to. So I just want to stress that this time is for you. It's for you to explore and have an opportunity that the department is covering for you to meet with a mental health professional. Guys, therapy is expensive, so like take advantage of having this session, please. These are incredible women, incredible therapists. I would not send them there if I didn't trust in the work that they do and their ability to show up and be present and engaged with you guys, and to handle this with sensitivity, knowing that you might be a little bit skeptical because this is new to your agency. So I hope that these visits are valuable to you and productive, because I'm sure that this might be a more normal thing. So truly take advantage of it while you can. I did this with the City of Boulder Fire for 2 years in a row. And the first year I definitely had people who were skeptical because it was a mandatory visit. And so they felt really unsure about doing this because anything mandatory feels like there's something tied to it, right? And then we followed up and did it the following year. And the people who were the most resistant were the ones who called me first. So I hope that you hear that and know that I've been in situations with folks who don't love visits like this, and at the end of it, they trusted what was happening because there was only like very loose data that was given back to their agency. It had nothing. There was not any one person's personal information that was going back to command staff, and that was just for them to have some insight to their folks to see how they can continue to support them. So again, just please note that this is confidential, and to take advantage of the time that you have. I hope you find it valuable and that you get something from your time, and that you just enjoy your time with Laura, Lucy, or Susie. Thanks so much for your time, y'all. I hope that it's a great week.